Hi everyone, this is Ruby. I'm sitting here in my car, not driving. As you can see, I don't have my seatbelt on. In Little 5 Points, waiting for my 1 o'clock Pilates class to start. I just finished my Tai Chi class, and I'm looking forward to going to Mickey Fit's Pilates class this Saturday and next Saturday. And had a lot of stuff on my mind, so much so that when I don't speak what's on my mind, my right jaw starts to hurt. So I know I need to write about it or I need to speak about it. And I want to talk about a few things, including my tribe, which are my fellow counselors. How are you guys doing this weekend? I hope you're doing something fun. I hope you're moving your body, that is. And I also want to speak to some things that are going on in the world, specifically related to Black women, and then also some things that have to do with entrepreneurship and self-expression and ideas about, for lack of better words, being perfect, or about fear of judgment and or criticism and or people judging or criticizing one another. So one of the things that I talk a lot about, and some of you have heard me mention this quote or you've seen it on my site, and I posted something about it this week, is something by the great Persian poet Rumi, who says, out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and ideas of right doing, there is a field, I will meet you there. And whenever I have a moment of judgment about someone else, one of the things that I try to think about is what Rumi talks about, that field about beyond wrongdoing and right doing. And so specifically, one of the things that I want to say is that a lot of people struggle with being afraid. There's something that they want to do in the world, whether they want to be a public speaker, or they want to start a business, or they want to, fall in love, or whatever it is. They struggle with fear, and I think the biggest fear is the fear that something's going to happen that you can't recover from. And then on top of that, I think people are afraid of being judged. People are afraid of being misunderstood. People are afraid of not getting it right, and afraid of not being perfect. And the idea that any of us is perfect or can be perfect is a myth that a lot of us are struggling towards, trying to achieve some perfection, and it's not real. And I think the biggest gift that we can give ourselves is the gift of grace. And so how do we do that? I think we start by extending grace to one another. And that means that we work to suspend some of our criticism and judgment of one another, and try to practice more often. Hi, Mark. Try to practice more often being forgiving of ourselves and forgiving of other people. And so one of the things that's made me think about that this week is a meeting I had with a colleague, consultee, mentee of mine, who has a desire and a purpose around speaking and around sharing her voice. And I don't know if specifically these are her fears, but one of the things that I thought about is, whenever you put yourself out there, you're exposing yourself to scrutiny. And people have a right to an opinion about you. And they have a right to like you or not like you. And it's okay for you to be not liked by other people. It's it could sting, it can hurt, but more than that, you have to like yourself, and you have to know and stand behind your own purpose. And don't let any ideas about that you have to say it perfectly, you have to be the most eloquent speaker, you have to be the most knowledgeable person in the world to share your gifts. And so I'm hoping that for those who are struggling under ideas around perfectionism, that you'll just try. You can't achieve anything if you don't put some effort in. The saying is, without risk, there's no reward. So whether it's getting out there speaking, or going for a goal that you want, like expanding your work or your business, I think it's vital that you let go of ideas of perfectionism, or you'll never start. And so the other thing that I wanted to talk about is my tribe, my fellow counselors who are out there shining light into the dark spaces. What I mean by that is I talk about Counselors Rock because I really want to encourage other counselors who are out there doing work that is so unseen by the public, hearing some of the worst of what we as human beings inflict upon one another and believe about ourselves, and the private pain that so many people go through. And counselors take all of that in, and we absorb it, and we try to process it, and we try to be a light into those dark spaces and walk with people through their pain, hopefully, through the other side. And so I want to shout out to all of my counselors out there, from every background, every age, every generation, every race. You'll see me writing and posting about different issues, particularly issues related to the Black community or Black women. That's part of my tribe. Counselors are my tribe. My high school alum are my tribe. My friends from college are my tribe. And when I say that, I just mean they're my people that I care about, groups of people that I feel an affinity to or am a part of. And so I want all the counselors out there to know, when I talk about be well and self-care matters, I'm saying we have to take care of ourselves. I'm not saying we can't lean on others. We have our supports. We do our consultation. We do our own therapy. But we also have to look out for ourselves, and we have to move our bodies. Why? One of the main reasons is because we need to process all of that darkness sometimes that we are taking in. And one way that we can do that is through allowing our bodies to process through it and move it out. We are energy. We are beings of energy. And so whenever we are in close proximity with other people who have energy that is about pain or negativity or hurt or trauma, we are absorbing that energy, and we have to process it and move through it. And that's one of the things I love about doing Tai Chi. So about perfectionism. So I'm saying I'm excited about going to this Pilates class today. And one reason why I'm calling it excitement is because there's a part of me that's a little bit nervous, right? I'm going to be doing something new, something different, something where, my knee that's injured might hurt, I don't know, or my lower back that I'm always trying to make sure I'm taking care of, or my right wrist because I'm always on the mouse and on my phone, a mouse like keyboarding, typing. And what I have to do is what I encourage other people to do is, I'm a beginner at this Pilates thing. I don't need to be able to do what Mickey can do. Just like if someone comes into Tai Chi class who's their first time, and I've been doing it for over 12 years, they're not necessarily going to do what I do. And just like if you're somewhere in your process of building your business, you should not necessarily expect that you're automatically going to be where someone else is who's 10, 20, 25 years, ahead of you. There is no like overnight success. For the most part, anyone that you're looking at who you think is successful has been doing what they're doing, for a long time. And so I wanted to encourage people. And then the other thing that I wanted to talk about is something that's like really dear to my heart, which has to do with, I think, a lot of the challenges that Black women face, particularly around our appearance, and specifically regarding our hair. And as all of you know, this week the Olympics has been going on in Brazil, and there's been, a lot of amazing champions, of course, from our country and from all over the world. And one of them that I'm thinking about is Gabby Douglas, who we all know is an amazing gymnast, and an unfortunate focus surrounding her has been about her hair, about her edges, right? Like, so for those of you who don't know what edges are, why people would talk about them, these are my edges, these little curly, like tightly wound tendrils of hair that are at the edge of my scalp line. There are a lot of people who are seeing Gabby and seeing her amazing ability, but they are distracted by whether or not her edges are laid down flat or straight, or, you know, I guess whatever people put on their edges to try to make them, you know, behave, if you will. And what I want to say about that is I long for and support a world where each of us, you know, whether you're a black woman, a white man, Asian woman, whatever you are, that you could be born into this world and just actually be accepted and valued for who you are without having to transform yourself into something else to be deemed acceptable. And I know for a lot of women of color in particular, this thing with our hair starts at an early age. And so I'm not even upset with the criticizers. They are unfortunately folks who have, for lack of better words, been victimized by a culture or a society that says you're not good enough because your hair is not straight enough, or it's too wavy, or it's too curly, or it's too kinky. From an early age, they've been indoctrinated. What I want for all of them is the same thing that I want for Gabby and for me and for the women I know, is to know that you are beautiful, not for how you look, even though you might be beautiful for how you look. You're also beautiful because of your shine. And what I mean by shine is by you being out in the world, doing what you are intended to do and achieving what you're intended to achieve, and speaking what you are intended to speak. I think even though it's a challenging time, it's also an amazing time for black women. There are black women I follow online like Tanya Fields, who's up in New York, who's doing all this work around farming and healthy community. And there's Dr. Venus Opal, who is the coaching black women millionaires, and Dr. Stacy Patton, who is leading a charge in advocacy against child abuse, and who's speaking out on issues. And I participate in those communities, and I do what I call holding those women up, because of course when anyone speaks out, there are going to be people who are criticizing them. And I'm not saying that people who speak out, like myself or anyone else, should not have to deal with or confront criticism. What I'm saying is, you know, to the degree that you can, focus on the people that support you. Listen to criticism to find out if there is a kernel in there of something useful, but focus on those who see you. Focus on, like for someone like Gabby, all of us who see you and say, you're amazing and we're so proud of you, and you are more than your hair and your edges. I'm trying not to get emotional. And Simone Biles, who's doing amazing. You are more than your story about foster care or whatever it is. I think that we have to, as human beings, embrace each other more and stop with, to the degree that we can, the criticism. And this is the other thing I want to say about criticism. It is most often a reflection of the criticizer. And I'm not saying that that person is a bad person, but what someone else sees in me or you or any of the other women we're talking about has more to do with themselves than it has to do with anything about you. And so what you have to recognize is what's bothering you or what's bothering me about someone else's statements about me or about us or about you is how it makes us feel. And how it makes us feel is connected to what we tell ourselves about what the person has said. So if we tell ourselves, wow, that person is right, I should have straightened out and smoothed out my edges, or wow, that person is right, I shouldn't have shared that picture or that story, or wow, that person is right, I don't know as much of what I should know about what I'm talking about to even speak, to even have a voice. It's what we are telling ourselves about the criticism that causes us harm. So you and I have a choice. We each have a choice to decide that our criticizers will not determine our worth, that our worth is independent of criticism, and that some elements of criticism have something there to teach us. So don't throw it all away, but look to the people who are saying, I love you, I see you, I support you. Look to them for your critique, not to the ones who don't see you, who don't support you, who don't understand you, who don't understand like what it is to walk in your shoes. There is very little that someone can teach you who has not walked in your experience. Until you have been, a black girl growing up in America where you had to go get your hair done once a week just so you could look presentable, or where you had a hot comb taken to your scalp so that the world would know that you were kempt and you were being upkept and that you were being presented to the world. Until you have walked in that story of seeing, even now as a grown woman, little girls at the age of 2 black girls wanting to prefer to play with white dolls because they think those dolls are prettier, or any number of experiences that black women deal with that have to do with just showing up and being themselves in the world. And so I want to say to Gabby and to any woman out there that has felt like they have been put down over some ideals about perfection and whatever it means to be perfect. You don't have to be perfect, and no one is perfect. Only thing you have to do is keep being the best you, because nobody else can do that job. And all you have to do is internalize your own shine, your own beauty, your own gifts, and what you have to share with the world. And some people are going to receive it and they're going to say, I see you, and that's amazing. And other people are going to see it and they're going to go, that's not really for me. And other people are not going to see you at all. And some people are going to see you and they'll never say anything to you. And all of that is totally acceptable. The most important thing is, what do you think about you and what do you see about you? I think it's an amazing time, despite the challenges I talked about, for being a black woman in America, because we are standing more and more together. We are joining arms. We are saying, I see you and you're amazing. And so I just want my tribe to know, counselors, keep shining that light into dark spaces. I want to say to my other tribe of entrepreneurs, I support you. You guys see me out here supporting so many of you every day. I'm going to Mickey's event. She's an entrepreneur. So many of you guys support me as an entrepreneur, and I see you and I appreciate you. I know this was a lengthy video. I don't know if you made it to the end. I think I just saw Tanisha Sapp. Hi, Tanisha. And I just want to say to you guys, especially my tribe, my counselors, I love all of you, and I hope that you are taking care of you. Bye.